see dope people. Welcome back to another episode of Dope People. I am your host, Brooklyn's favorite polymath. I have done the research and I can affirm that I am the favorite polymath in Brooklyn, working on the next boroughs. And today we have a really dope person on the show. Wait a minute, Hayden, what's dope? Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Dope's a term that originated back in the day. It means something that's awesome, that's amazing, and I know a bunch of dope people, and I want you to know a bunch of dope people. And today is somebody who I have always admired from afar, and I am really happy to bring her onto the show today. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the one and only Camille Varlack. Camille, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Hayden? It's so good to see you.
Yes, and thank you for everything that you're doing, and we'll get into that. But I also want to thank you for taking some time out to talk to me. I know you are very, very busy. All right.
No, absolutely. Thank you.
So, Camille, we always start the show with our guests by really asking a simple question, a kind of like a barometer on how you understand the word dope, right? So, who is the dopest person that you have ever met? Like, and it could be one time or it's somebody that you've known all your life, but who's the dopest person you've ever met?
I'm a little boring. I tend to go back to the same person. And for me, it's my mother, right? My
Yeah.
mother immigrated here from Trinidad and Tobago. I was born in Trinidad. She brought me as an infant. We went back home. She brought me back when I was around six and a half, seven. And she ended up in Rochester, New York. She was in New Jersey. She heard about this incredible program that if she got into it, she'd get her nursing license for free.
Mm,
And so she moved to Rochester. And, you got to know there weren't a lot of us in Rochester, New York at that time. And so it was hard.
probably still not.
Still not. But it was hard, and she navigated and she worked extremely hard, but she still instilled in us values, a religious foundation. She made sure we got a great education. And I got to tell you, as hard as I work, she's the hardest working person I know. I typically go to work at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and she's normally already there, and she's shutting the place down after I leave.
Wow,
So,
wow.
she's amazing. She's amazing, and she's given me the foundation for everything that I do.
I love that. I love that. And so, that's a common story. So you and I are both from the same island. And one of the things that, and we're both of a certain age. That's the diplomatic way of saying that we old,
Oh
right?
my God. Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
and so that is a common story. It's like, hey, I need to get off this island for better opportunities. Not that there's anything wrong with Trinidad, man. I would go live there in a heartbeat. But for economic opportunities, and you drag these kids along with you, or in my case, my mother went, and then I was born in London.
Okay.
And that nurse story is so common, both with Jamaican and Trinidadian parentage. So I commiserate with that completely. I also want to talk about the fact that you said that she's already there when I'm there. And it's always amazing to me. As hard as you work, there's always somebody who's outworking you. As
That's
hard as
right.
you work, there's always somebody who. I remember we were in Jamaica, ironically,
Hmm.
and I whenever I travel with the family, I take pictures of sunrises. So I'll
Okay.
get up long before everybody is up, and I've got all my equipment laid out from the night before, and I'm up before the hotel staff or anything like that. I'm
Right.
up to the beach, and I take these pictures of sunrises. And I remember distinctly, and it's I have the pictures called Fisherman, and I remember getting out there, being all right. I'm the only person out there, and point to my camera, and there was already a fisherman already on the
Yeah.
ocean who had gotten up far earlier than I had.
Right.
Right,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
so
You can always be outworked.
you can always be outworked, right? So that's that. I love that lesson right there,
Yeah.
and thank you for giving your mom some flowers. But now it's time to give you some flowers. I This is the point in the show that most of my guests start to cringe. It's like, oh my god, what is she going to say? Um, so Camille, you and I have known each other for quite some time. We are members of fraternities and sororities. Black Greek fraternities and sororities, and that community, to best describe it, is frenetic at best, right?
Yes.
There's a lot going on, and especially during the undergraduate years, it's like bing, 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 all of it. You have always been one of the most stable and the people who are always like level headed throughout it all. There could be everything going on. If you look around and you find Camille, Camille's gonna be like, okay, so I'm gonna do this over here.
Right.
And that has followed you throughout your career, right? Uh, there is no secret that you are a boss lady. You are the highest ranking Black woman in New York City. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. I think you're right.
You're the
Yes,
highest
I
rank,
didn't think about I don't really think about it that way, but yes.
right? And that's the point, right? Like you don't get caught up with the rah rah rah, all right? And in the
Right.
midst of all of the controversy that's surrounding you, you have been a steady force in New York City government, right? It's when you come on when you come on the TV, when we see you doing a press conference, it's like, all right, it's time to be serious, right? So,
I know. And sometimes my mother-in-law is texting me like, "Why do you look so serious?" And I'm like, "It's a
because
serious moment. Serious
it
moment."
calls for serious business.
Yes,
It's
yes.
calls for serious business, and so that is the thing that I have always admired about you. Even like I said, during the undergraduates, like everybody was being the rah rah rah, but I am pretty confident that I know, like, if it all went south, that your sorority sisters would look at you as like, all right, what's Camille doing? How can Camille get us out of this one, right?
Yes, yes.
And that's exactly how I see you in government right now. And tell me, you're a deputy mayor, but like, what is the correct title?
Sure. So I am chief of staff for the city and to the mayor. I am deputy mayor for administration. I'm also special counsel to the mayor.
Right, boss lady, right? Like just boss lady.
I appreciate that. You know, it is the dream of a lifetime to get to run the city that you love. I was one of those people, grew up upstate, but grew up watching like all of these amazing TV shows and movies filmed in New York City and developed this notion, right? This concept of if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. And for me, when I graduated from undergrad, again, upstate, knew I was coming to the city, didn't apply to go to grad school anyplace else, and so, I didn't know the mayor before I took this job. I was doing some stuff in New York City government, and the opportunity presented itself. And I thought about it long and hard because I've been in and out of government. I've spent a lot of time in government, and these jobs are not easy.
No.
But it's not the kind of thing it's not the kind of opportunity that you walk away from. And so for me, I was like, let's go. I consider myself first and foremost, after being an attorney, to be sort of a crisis manager. Unfortunately, those skills have definitely come into play in this role because there's always so much going on. We had a mass shooting this week. It was a terrible week for New York City.
Yeah.
But just being here on the ground, being able to do things that help my community, there's no greater joy. So I've really enjoyed my time in the position.
And we have appreciated that steady hand, and again, it's much needed in these times. So tell your mama, when you look serious on the TV, it's like, we appreciate that. That's what we
Yes,
need in these moments.
I will.
Well, Camille, thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for everything that you're doing for the city. We're gonna take a short break, and we're gonna come back, and I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna find out what dope thing you have either done or are doing, and that makes you dope. So stick with us, and we will be right back.
Okay.
I see dope people. And we are back with another episode of Dope People. Our guest today is Camille Varlack. Camille, how are you doing? Is it you hanging out with us?
I am. All
You saw
good.
I wore my New York City colors today, my
I
orange and blue.
yes, I love it. Thank you.
Every time I wear these colors, people are like, "Oh, Mets fan." I was like, "Yeah, go. You gotta go over there. You gotta go over there."
That's
I'm,
amazing.
I'm Yankees through and through, so I gotta rep.
Oh, Yankees. No, we're Mets fans here in this house.
Sorry to hear that.
It's all right.
Listen,
Good.
y'all are
Good.
having a better season than we are right now, but neither one of us are having a bad season, so we're fine. We're fine. We're
Okay.
fine.
Never count us out. Never count us out.
Every year it's like, oh, it's gonna be a Subway season, Subway series. I'm like, nobody wants that. Half of the city is gonna be upset. Nobody wants that.
I know. I know. It's all
So,
good.
Camille, I've just went through all the stuff that I think that's dope about you, but you tell me, what dope thing have you done or are doing or in the process of doing that makes you a dope person?
Oh, Um, it's a difficult question. I think it fundamentally comes back to the work that I'm doing. I think the thing that I'm most proud of is how the city has stood up to take on the asylum seeker crisis. Right. So really quickly, we had about 240,000 people come into New York City over the course of 2.5 years. Some weeks we had buses that would come in up to 4,000 people, and it
Yeah.
was our responsibility to make sure that we took care of them. And I love crisis, so you're going to feel a lot of energy coming from me here, but it was like the most amazing experience. I had an opportunity to work with some of the most incredible leaders every single day. It's like, did a bus come in the morning? Yes. How many people are on it? 800. Do we have families, children? Sometimes there were, I mean, we had a child who they had taken their seizure medication away from them at the border. We had moms that would get off the bus that were expecting, hadn't gotten prenatal care. They would show up here in the dead of winter in shorts and flip flops. And we had to find places for them. We had to build places where they could be safe. We had to get their children enrolled in school, right? So we absorbed about 44,000 children in New York City public schools. I mean, we had tents, as you know, pitched in parking lots and parks. We had, taken over massive hotels that we converted. And we created a new Ellis Island in the middle of Manhattan. And it was incredibly hard for everyone that you could possibly think of. We went down to DC to lobby to help them get the right to work. We had to figure out programs. We worked with our community-based organizations, volunteers, faith-based communities. And now we're at a place where the population has decreased to maybe a little over 30 something thousand. And so to have done that over the course of the years, I mean, I can get on an interview right now and not even bring up the asylum seeker crisis, whereas I remember there being a point in time where it was the only thing that people were talking
The only
about.
thing that we talked about, yeah.
Exactly. And for me, being an immigrant and understanding what it means to come here for opportunity and knowing that many of these people walk through the Darien jungle, walk through all sorts of incredibly difficult places, dealt with so many hard things to get here to find opportunity, to have been a part of that, right? Making sure that they were taken care of and they could figure out how to take the next steps in their journey has definitely been a privilege, and one thing that I will probably never forget in this role.
And the crazy thing about that, and this is we could do a whole other podcast on that.
Yes.
Uh, the crazy thing about that is that the city was providing all of these services for people who this was not their original destination, right? They
Right.
didn't want to come here. They weren't.
Exactly.
This was not the goal, right? They didn't want to be in New York City in the middle of winter, right?
Right.
Like, we
Ex-
don't want to be in New York City in the middle of winter.
exactly in the dead of winter. Yeah. No. I mean, many of them were, told you only have two options. Right. There's four cities you can go to, and often those were Denver, Chicago, and New York City. And people would get here, and so we were able to get some people immediately, like within 24 hours. As soon as they would get here, we do a preliminary medical screening, make sure that they were okay, and figure out if they wanted to be reticketed. Is there someplace else that they wanted to go? We had communities where the largest population outside of their country was in Florida, right? The largest community in Florida. And, when we were thinking about, how to get these folks down there, politics would get in the way, and certain politicians didn't want us to do that. They threatened the communities that were there. But we figured it out. We figured it out because that's what New Yorkers do. It was, I think, what was the coolest, or to use your word, the dopest thing about it is that New York is a microcosm of every ethnicity you could possibly think of. It's
Yes.
like 8.5 million people that have come from so many different places. And to see when there is a crisis, how everyone's like, all right, whatever, let's go, right? Roll up the sleeves, let's dig in, let's figure it out. It was the most New York experience to be a part of that and to see how our communities came together to support these people. So I'm super, super proud of the work that we did. I'm happy that we've moved on, and now our conversations about New York City are fundamentally about all of the other great things that we had to do in parallel with dealing with that. But super happy. I was tasked by the administration to sort of run the response to this, and so yeah.
Listen, and I see it on the other side of this, right? Because I know that you're doing all the rest of those things in the public eye, but I also see you being a superwoman at home and for your friends and your family, even in the midst of pool tables showing up in the middle of
Oh my
your
God,
living
the
room.
pool table. Yes, yes.
That's
Oh,
a
I
whole
know.
that's a whole nother story altogether about
Yes,
wives and husbands, but that's
100%, Hayden. You're still on my list for that one. Still on my list for that one. It's in the middle of my beautiful living room. I'm like, what are we supposed to be doing with this? So yeah,
so, we thank you for all that you do, Camille.
thank you.
So we round out the show by talking about a moment in history, a dope moment in history, or a dope person in history. And so you're in politics, in city government, and so when we start to talk about members of the African diaspora that have been in government, the A. Philip Randolphs and the David Dinkins and all and Patterson and all these people come up first, but I wanted to shine light on one of the first persons of African descent to ever win a major election, and was the first person of African descent to hold the office of any borough president. Do you know who that person is?
Oh man, no, I'm not gonna know this one.
I tend to I love stumping my guests. so,
Okay, all right. I
so
don't like being stumped, but go ahead.
So the first African American to hold a borough president office was a Manhattan borough president, and his name was Hulan Jack. And
Okay,
and so Hulan Jack was the first black person to be Manhattan borough president. He happened to also be a member of Phi Beta Sigma, and so that was in 1953, and testament to how good of a job that he did. In 1953, he was a two-time borough president. And so,
amazing.
you know,
I love that.
being elected in 1953 as a black man is a big leap, but then being able to be reelected, that
It's
was big
huge.
deal. That was
Yes,
a big deal. So Hulan Jack is our dope person in history right now.
I
So
love that.
So Camille, where can people find you? Like if they're looking to reach you, I know that people just don't roll up to the deputy mayor and say like, "Hey, can you help me with this?" But like, if people need you or need a service, where can people find you?
Yeah, well, two places. I'm at City Hall. I'm there every pretty much 7 days a week. So they could always reach me at City Hall using my City Hall email address. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. I like to share the good news of what the administration is doing, and so people reach out to me there all the time. I'm very easy to find. I'm under my name, and I'm always happy to connect with New Yorkers or anybody else that I might be able to help. I think the other place that I've found a lot of people reach out to me for are a lot of young women who are just looking to connect with a woman in politics or who's in a position of power as they perceive it. Nothing better than empowering young girls and letting them know they can do anything in the world that they want. So if you're out there listening, please reach out. I'd be happy to talk to you.
And I can testify to that. You are a supporter of women, whether they are in lockstep with what you're doing or just need your influence or your love. They really recently crossed a whole bunch of people in another organization, and I saw you there just as if that
Right.
was your own organization,
Yes.
and that was wonderful. So yes, I can testify to that as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, for those of you who are watching, thank you so much for watching. In the meantime, like, save, subscribe, share, do all the things. Plus, if you know somebody who should be on the show, please get in contact with us. We will get them on as soon as possible. Camille, thank you so much for hanging with us. Did you have a good time?
I had a great time. Thank you so much for having me.
No, it was our pleasure. And for the rest of you, come back next week. We will have another dope person to interview. But until then, go forth and be dope.